And we join the BBC's news teams where you are. Bye-bye.
Hello. First today, as you may have seen, the Peterborough-based holiday company Thomas Cook is closing 200 high street stores. Up to 1,000 jobs could be lost. The company has made a loss of nearly £400 million and shares fell sharply last month.
We have, of course, always to look into the profitability of each shop. We cannot have shops that are not profitable. So these 200 that we are now into consultation with, they are not profitable for the time being, and if we cannot make them profitable, we will have to close them down.
Well, a short time ago I spoke to the travel expert Simon Calder and started by asking him what was going wrong at Thomas Cook.
Thomas Cook is a good, robust business. It's got into a right old pickle over the past few years, partly as a result of unfortunate events such as the volcanic ash saga last year and the turmoil in the Middle East and North Africa this year, but also because of failing to follow trends. They are moving up market. They are very much following TUI, the company that owns Thompson and First Choice, and saying, OK, we're going to get more exclusive properties. We're going to offer fewer holidays, but hopefully better holidays.
But you believe that this is not the beginning of the end of Thomas Cook, but actually something that they perhaps should have done a long time ago?
Oh, sure. In general, this is not a bad business. It had sales of basically £10 billion last year. It made an operating profit of £300 million. It's only 3%, but frankly, in travel at the moment, that's not too bad. Overall, when you look at the write-downs that they had to do, that works out that they lost £13 every second last year, which is very painful. They clearly have quite overstretched borrowings at the moment, but that can come right. It's basically a matter of shrinking to fit the market and Thomas Cook's new place in it. Unfortunately, that is going to be a painful process for the staff involved. For us holiday makers, well, we'll probably actually end up paying a bit more for our holidays, but we don't need to worry about the company not being there come next summer.
Simon Calder, thank you very much. Huge straw fires, including one in 60,000 tonnes near Ely, have been causing disruption in the fens this morning. The smoke could be seen for miles. The fires are being treated as suspicious. The details now from Felicity Simper.
Well, Stuart, this fire behind me is one of several that are burning here today, and there's a bitterly cold wind blowing here, and every now and then you get a waft of the heat and the smoke coming off the fire. Now, fire crews tell me it's hard to estimate really exactly how big this fire is that's burning behind me, but they think it could be up to 50,000 tonnes of straw that's gone up in flames. And about 5 minutes over in that direction, there's several other fires burning at Meepole. There's about 16,000 tonnes of straw that have gone up in smoke there. Now, all the fire service really can do at this point is just keep an eye on it and make sure it's controlled and try and prevent it from spreading any further. All this straw that you see was destined to go to a local straw burning power station. So as you can imagine, there's a considerable amount of money that's been lost here. Well, earlier I managed to speak to Martin Boone, who's the Arson Liaison Officer from Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue Service, and he told me he believes that those fires have been started deliberately.
Straw is at a very high price at this point in time. Obviously, we're now, as you can see, we're working with the Rural Crime Action Team, and we're looking at ways to, if it is arson, because obviously we're in the position of where we're still investigating. And we will let obviously people know a little bit later the results of that investigation.
Well, behind me is another stack of straw behind this one. That hasn't caught fire yet, and the fire crews here are really keeping an eye on it and keeping their fingers crossed that the wind doesn't suddenly change direction, and they're hoping that that's not going to catch fire. And the advice from the fire service in this area, if you're worried about the smoke, they're telling you to keep your doors and your windows closed. Stuart.
Felicity, thank you very much. Figures released this morning show unemployment in the East has gone up. Between August and October, the number of people looking for work went up to 218,000. That's an increase of 26,000. 7.2% of the workforce in this region is now unemployed. The government has agreed to give £86.5 million towards a new northern relief road for Norwich. The road will have 9 miles of dual carriageway between Taverham and Poswick. A murder investigation is underway in Clacton. A man in his 20s was found with stab wounds and died half an hour later. Victoria Cook is in Clacton now.
Well, police have confirmed this lunchtime that the victim's name is Liam Mearns, and friends and family who have been laying flowers here this lunchtime has said that he's a young father from the local area, and in fact his partner is expecting their next baby. Now, the police have said this wasn't a random attack, but in fact 2 groups of people were seen here fighting last night, and that resulted in the murder. Now, the police cordon remains in place and the roads remain closed around here, and that's because a detailed fingertip search of the area continues to be conducted. And as a result of the police investigation, they've confirmed they found a number of weapons, including a knife. They've said they can't confirm at the moment whether any of these weapons were used as part of the attack last night, but they're appealing for locals to watch out for anything they see on the floor. If they see anything that looks suspicious, to call them and not to touch it. Residents in the area have been speaking of their shock as to what's happened.
Basically, I was just coming back with my friends, and I saw loads of police everywhere. You know, there was a body like just laying there, and all the police were around. Everything was shut off, and all that really.
Well, this lunchtime, 10 people remain in police custody, and that group includes men and women and teenagers and adults. Now, this police cordon will remain in place, police think, for the rest of today.
Victoria, thank you very much. The BBC has learned the former leader of Essex County Council, Lord Hanningfield, could be told to pay back money illegally claimed in expenses or face a ban from the House of Lords. He was jailed for 9 months in May, but released after 2 months. The proposal will be made by a House of Commons committee today. The rail fans of YouTube have probably seen it, a film which has been getting millions of hits online, making it one of the most viewed on the internet. And as John Cranston reports, it came from a very unlikely source.
When former Mayor of Cambridge, Baroness Trumpington, issued her 2-fingered rebuke to Lord King, 250,000 people viewed her on YouTube. The crew of HMS Ocean's take on All I Want for Christmas, well, that has netted around 2 million views. But way ahead of that is some nutter going down what's called an alpine coaster with no brakes. Well over 3 million views so far. But what kind of crazy idiot would do this? The chief accountant for a local authority in Suffolk? Surely not. But actually, when David Ellis comes home from work at the local council, you're most likely to find him uploading his latest exploits as a thrill rider.
I'm a member of a couple of roller coaster enthusiast clubs.
It's the Summer Rodelbahn at Meaders in Austria.
We call it an alpine coaster, a bit like a monorail track.
I haven't done this once and used the brakes in a few places to make sure I was familiar with it. I thought, yeah, let's go for this without any brakes. I've ridden hundreds of coasters around the world, nearly 900. This is still one of my scariest ride experiences ever. And a lot of people I know who have ridden lots of coasters have said the same thing. Their comments for this day was, wow, this is just something special.
The little car David was in looks like this, but even his friends, and here are some of them on the bridge, are surprised at how his film has taken off.
It appeared what's happened is that some American cult internet site put it on their site, and people had watched it and then posted it on other sites, and it sort of grew from there. It's just phenomenal. I really do understand it.
David's not new to world achievement, though. He was among the team who set the world naked roller coaster riding record in Southend last year, and for that he's got the certificate to prove it. John Cranston, BBC Look East, Lowestoft.
All life is there. And just one football result from last night. Southend are out of the FA Cup. They lost 1-0 to Oldham in a second-round replay, and so will miss out on a trip to Liverpool in the next round. The weather. Alex.
Thanks, Stuart. Good afternoon. It is a bright but fairly chilly day across the region today. This is the view on the satellite chart. Temperatures are peaking at around 6 Celsius, so pretty chilly with a moderate southwesterly wind. It's mainly dry, but there are 1 or 2 showers just coming into the 3 counties area, so they may track steadily eastwards, and there's potential for them to fall as wintry showers. But it does stay mostly dry for most of us through this afternoon. Into tonight, though, we are expecting some rain later on, and that does mean that there's a real risk of some icy patches on the roads tonight. So the first part of the night, some mainly dry, clear skies, and winds really will start to drop out around about midnight. So we are looking at temperatures down to about freezing or just above, with light southerly winds, and it's the second half of the night we're expecting some showery rain to move through. So as I said, the temperature on the ground will be really cold, so there is a potential for that to freeze and cause some icy patches on the roads. So into tomorrow, that bit of that showery rain will clear first thing, but the next feature we're interested in is this area of low pressure. It's been steadily moving up across the Atlantic, and it does look as though it is going to produce some rain later for Thursday, and that potentially could fall as sleet or snow. But to start the day, that showery rain clears through. It'll be dry for a time with some brighter spells. 1 or 2 showers and potential for them to fall as wintry showers. Not particularly warm, temperatures similar to where they get to today, a top temperature expected of about 6 Celsius. The wind speed picking up a touch, a light to moderate west to southwesterly. So through the afternoon it is mainly dry with 1 or 2 isolated showers, and then we've got this area of rain that moves up into the evening, and I've kept the chart rolling until the early hours of the morning so you can see that it does look like it's going to start falling as sleet or snow. It's particularly for the west of the region. It doesn't look as though it'll get that far east, so parts of East Norfolk, East Suffolk and East Essex might escape it, but it could cause some disruption first thing for Friday. So potentially still some further wintry showers, some sleet or snow falling through the morning on Friday, and they're not particularly warm as well. Temperatures no higher than about 4 Celsius. Now moving ahead to the weekend, it looks as though it will stay mainly dry but cold, but you'll see a change of wind direction, more of a northwesterly wind, and that means we are vulnerable to 1 or 2 wintry showers, especially around that northeast corner of Norfolk, East Suffolk, northeast Norfolk particularly affected, and we'll keep those cold daytime temperatures through into the beginning of the week. And looking at the overnight lows, you'll see it is getting progressively colder overnight. We're getting temperatures that really are bringing us well below freezing and sharp frosts. Back to you.
Thank you very much indeed. That's it for now. We'll be back with Look East, BBC One at 6:30. Until then, have a very good afternoon.